Nexus shakes things up with a whole new load of innovations. A big 30% of you that have not smashed the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button, smash it so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. So we're back with, well, our first report of Duelist Nexus and their metagame report here. And let me tell you, looking at how this actually looks on the pie chart here, I'm actually genuinely pretty impressed. Purely takes a huge leap. Well, not as big as it has been, actually. The pie chart here is actually shrinking down on top of purely representation, which is actually pretty interesting to see. MathMech holds a 12.6% gap here. Keep in mind that this was just one deck off from both of these being tied here. Branded now has a 9 deck representation here. Looks like Branded's kind of starting to head back into the metagame here. Well, I mean, to be fair, Ash Blossom and Joy Spring does not have, like, a lot of application right now in this format because of, look at the top end of the format here. I mean, obviously, purely in MathMech, Ash does not hurt them in the least. So that's a pretty interesting dynamic here. Tierhead 7.2, wow. Chaos Roller and Snow really holding this deck together. Runic out here with 7 builds, actually, which is pretty impressive. Labyrinth also on the front end spin here, which is kind of interesting. Vanquish Soul with 5.4 to 6 in representation. And then we had Kashtira and Unchained. Yes, Unchained has been gaining a little bit of popularity. Now in the 33% category here, you have Exosister, Grass, more super heavy stuff, Adventure Synchro, Altergeist, Bysteel, Dragonlink, Salamangreat, Scareclaw, Manadium, Blackwing, Dinosaur, Flonderies, Generator, Grass, Branded, Grass super heavy, Bysteel, Light Swarm, Punk, Necroface. That's an engine. Magician, MathMech, Menkanko Danger, Punk, Phantom Knights, Rescue Ace, Sun Avalon, Sky Striker, Spiral, more super heavy variants, Tri-Brigade Lyrilisk, and True Draco. So, you kind of getting the gist of this, right? Like, in terms of your overall arching metagame chart here, you've got some interesting shifts that have actually occurred here, and I think that's pretty interesting. Now, what we got down here in the innovations department? Well, purely. So RJ went 9-1, including 2 buys, and finished first in the second Board's Journey Cup, which had 133 participants. X Purely Nor, in addition, from Duelist Nexus, it allows it to fetch any purely trap card from the deck, and of course, Nor affects sets, blah blah blah. So this is actually interesting because of the whole Draw and Lockbird interaction actually being very painful for this deck. Let's see here. Swapped out 1 evenly matched for 1 crossout designator. Of course, the fact that the OCG still has to deal with that. And then mention in this tweet that Ghost Ogre and Snorab is being played as a measure against combo decks. It could also be used in the purely mirror, but mainly against the opponent who is not expecting Ghost Ogre in the main deck, so they do not keep Happy Memory in hand to play around it. It's actually kind of interesting. So this is like a very early metagame choice here to kind of catch the opponent off guard so you can do your thing, and of course against combo. I do actually like that a lot. But I mean, you're still playing the whole Rainbow Bridge of Salvation build for the extra discard. Now the rest of the deck like really changes. It fundamentally still feels very much the same build that it's been. I would almost say that they've started to figure this out. I mean, the TCG is arguing on how many field spell you should play. I found that very interesting. A lot of the builds are just trying to play 1 on the very early end of things. MathMech. Now this is very interesting here. So MathMech standard 1-card combo for the MathMech Circular ends with Super Factorial and Dark Fluid Neo Tempest Hertz. Boy. So, since MathMech only requires 1 card to play any addition of monsters that can be used as Small World to convert to a hand trap for disruption or a kaiju removal. So a Cyber's Monster, Dot Scraper, Maxi, blah blah blah, can end on additional hand traps. Aratama, Ash into Ogre. It's fair. So it ends up literally being whatever additional monsters that you want to do. Now, the OCG has been very adamant as of late about wanting to include Aratama and Sakitama in this deck because, one, you can use them as additional extenders to get your deck off the ground, which is good, right? And then the fact that you can also use them as bridging gaps to toggle for anything else that you need. And that's also going to be important. Anytime that you can have, monsters that act as extenders / other combo pieces, that's the pinnacle of value in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards that serve multifunctional purposes within the game, that's actually amazing. And then, of course, the OCG has been pretty adamant on the microcoder interaction to search for the Signet conflict as well. Haven't really seen a lot of the TCG variants trying to do this. I don't think this is caught on at all in the TCG, but kind of interesting. Branded. Now, this is interesting. So, Ryochi went 7-1 and finished second place at the Kazi Cup, which had 40 participants. In this tournament, he played against 4 purely and won all 4 matches while going second. Ryochi mentioned in his tweet that he mainly relies on hand traps to stop the opponent from setting up Expurely Nor as long as the opponent's Expurely Nor is unable to stand. Branded has a better removal fight, highest attack, better resource management, and could win off of life point burn because of Masquerade the Blazing Dragon. Incidentally, he did not draw a single Exceed Encore the entire tournament. Now, keep in mind that they're hand trapping the opponent. Wow, yeah, who didn't see that coming, that hand traps were the best thing that you could do against Purely. And then to top things off, not seeing Exceed Encore. The reason why this deck is getting the chance to enter back into the fray and actually do things is because of hand traps. Like, as long as you can well round out your matchups against your opponent, you'll have no problem. And I think that that's actually pretty good. Yeah, looking at this deck, there's nothing too strange out of left field here. Oh boy, Tearlaments. Oh man, I'm telling you, this deck is just held together by Chaos Ruler and Glow Bulb, along with, the rest of the stuff. Look at this. Look at this build. They play the whole Revolution Synchron here for tunings to get the additional RNG mill. Imagine in the world that you're playing this deck, you hit the high roll mill off of the tuning, and you're like, yeah, you just have the best look on your face as you're going to plus town against your opponent. Like, I love the thought of that. I don't see anything else in here. Now, this is where the most interesting innovations come into play, and I actually saw this ahead of time. So, Yoshi went 5-1-1 and finished second at the Ashichi Cup with Toiger for a 3v3, which had 17 teams, 51 participants. And then his team ran a similar bid. Well, Tyrant's Tirade is face up on the field. Effects of effect monsters in the hand and on the field cannot activate. Skill Drain has become limited, but Tyrant's Tirade provides an additional way to floodgate the opponent's effect akin to Mystic Mine. Tyrant's Tirade has become an activation condition by requiring 2 monsters to tribute. Sleipnir the Runic Main, the new Runic card from Duelist Nexus, could special summon 1 Runic token when your opponent adds a card from their deck to the hand. These tokens could be used as tribute for Tyrant's Tirade. And then Sleipnir also has an effect that banishes a face-up monster and itself till the end phase. This is a decent removal effect, as it also helps Runic free up an extra monster zone to allow another Runic Fusion monster to be special summoned. This is Tyrant's Tirade here. So basically, you use your token, tribute off, and then you go ahead and laugh at your opponent because they can't actually do anything. That is your level of innovation this week. Tyrant's Tirade is actually seeing play now because of this. And they've been restricting, the fountain hit for this was pretty big. Same thing with Skill Drain. It really did hurt this deck. But Tyrant's Tirade, congratulations. You've lived long enough to see it. Also, they do love Ghost Reaper Winter Cherries in this. This is really good. So, our little Purely remains in the front, but Mathmech has made great strides to top swiftly close behind the gap. Duelist Nexus has a moderate impact on the metagame, mainly by giving several themes a couple of new support cards besides Purely and Runic, which had already been doing decently well with the new support. Rogue decks like Unchained Ultrageist and Rescue Ace have been boosted by the new support and managed to put out some minor results in the competitive scene, which is actually really nice. But still, where's Infernoble Knight out here? Infernoble Knight, hi. Infernoble players, where you at? You guys are really, really, really missing out here, honestly. It has been very, very interesting, to say the least. So, what do you guys think about everything? Please, if you comment down below to interesting, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.